Hey, what's up everybody? It's Bryan here with another After Effects tutorial. This time I want to examine 3 creative ways we can use a null object in After Effects to make your lives easier. Let's get started. So here we are, we're in After Effects now, and I want to show you guys 3 quick ways. I have 3 compositions laid out. We're going to run right through them real quick. The first one I want to show you guys is how to use the null object paired with a camera in order to revolve around objects or make movements that would otherwise be impossible. If you ever tried to make a camera before in After Effects, let's go ahead and jump in and show you what I'm talking about, and you want to revolve around an object. You would think you could come down here, hit R for rotation on the camera and rotate, but you'll notice that the camera rotates on an axis. Now, if you have a 2-point camera, you may be able to actually accomplish this, but even then it's going to be difficult, and there's a much easier way to do it. So let's reset this real quick. And what you can do is just take your camera and parent it to a null object that's also in 3-dimensional space. That's very key. And then on the null object, hit rotation. And then now if I rotate, we're rotating around our object in 3-dimensional space. Now, on the next one, let's say you have a composition with a lot of layers and your boss comes in and you're on a job site and it says, you know what, these are too big or they're too small, and it's like, man, I didn't make a pre-comp. I could make a pre-comp and move everything around, but then I'm gonna lose some parameters, I'm gonna lose some settings that I use. So there's one way to work around this, and that's using a null object. So let's create a new null object here. And what I want to do is just grab all 3 of these. I'm gonna hold down shift click on all my solids. This is just an example. And I'm gonna pick whip these up here so that their parent link is set. So you'll notice, like, on all 3 of these layers it says null 3, null 3, null 3. Not really naming for this tutorial, but now what I can do is I come in here and let's say, oh, I don't like the position of these 3 objects, so I come over here and slide them all the way over. Or let's say I need to make them bigger, I use the scale, they will all scale up. And then let's say they're good and I don't need this anymore. Here's the cool part, is I come in here and I hit delete and their transformations stick. So if you come in here and you hit P, you'll notice their transformations moved. And that's one quick way to use a null object to make really quick overarching changes. And then last but not least, I want to show you guys real quick how you can use a null object to store data. In this case, we're going to store track data. So really quick, I got this footage that I found on Envato Elements. If you do not have an Envato Elements account, I highly recommend checking them out. I'm going to leave a link in the description below. Envato Elements is a great way if you're in a pinch, you need a sound effect, or you need some stock footage in this case. They are a great resource to have in your bag to really get jobs done in a quick and efficient manner. So here we are. I'm just going to jump in real quick. I do want to create the null object right away before you do any track. You want to have the null object created, that way you can target it. It's a bug in After Effects to where if you create the null after you start the tracking, it can't find the null object. I don't know why that is. That's just unfortunately a thing. So just create the null object first. And then in this case, I actually do want to label it just in case I want to create another null object. I'm going to call this one track data. Now, there's several ways to track. If you haven't before, definitely check out my 3D tracking tutorial on how to 3D track, but we're going to use a 2D track. Fun fact, we're going to be working on a new 5-Minute Friday video where we actually cover 2D tracking. That's coming up soon. I'm using this shot as well, and I'm going to cover how to do a screen replace. But let's real quick cover how to store data. I'm going to come to my original footage. I'm going to do a track motion. I did a couple tracks on this one, and the crosses don't do a very good job of maintaining the confidence of the track. There's a huge error involved, so I'm just going to use one of the corners here and see if it does a better job. And I do want to actually track the rotation, and let's just throw in scale. Let's see what happens. Sometimes I can throw off your tracks on a simple 2D track. So you're looking for a corner here with just a very defined edge, in this case a right angle. Those are usually the best. Let's see how this one works. We're zeroed out, and let's go ahead and track and see how it goes. Okay, so I have this track now. And I only tracked, the 10 seconds that I need. And so now I'm just going to hit apply. It's going to apply to my target if I have my target set properly. Hit OK. Now, since I have all my data on that null, just like we did in the last step, all I have to do is take a layer and parent it to that null object. And since it has track data, it should be able to perform as a screen replace. So let's see what happens. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come in here. I'm going to create a new solid. Red's fine in this case, but I have this red solid. And what I want to do is I want to mask in this red solid. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to be doing another tutorial on this actual shot and how to replace this screen with something cool. And go. Turn on that layer. And now, just like we did in the last step, let's parent it and let's see what happens. And because that information is stored on the null, let's say I want to add text, or, let's say add a shape. Here, let's come down. Let's move it over. to rotate a little bit so it looks better. Maybe I'll pre-comp it, but in this case I'm not. And now I'm just going to throw this on the track data. It will move as well. So those are 3 quick and easy ways to use the null. It's not the only 3 ways. There are thousands of ways you can use a null object to accomplish remedial tasks. You can throw expressions onto them that run other parameters down the line. But if you're just getting started in After Effects, this should help you out big time. And I hope it helps you guys work a lot faster and solve problems. That's one of the big things as VFX artists and motion designers that a lot of people don't quite understand is, yes, we are artists, but at the end of the day, we are the ultimate problem solvers when it comes to the productions. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I want to hear your thoughts. If you have a better way of doing this, I'd love to hear it. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.